Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 2 in the NFL preseason. We're talking right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, who's giving us all of his thoughts on a bunch of games. Right now, we're going to cover Jacksonville and the New York Giants. Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. I went 50-50 personally in Week 1 in the NFL preseason, but I'm feeling pretty confident with some of my bets in Week 2 of the NFL preseason. Saturday's a big card. You think you're going to have a lot of premium picks at your site for these Week 2 games on Saturday?
Yeah, it looks like Week 2 is turning out to be pretty darn strong. We've already had some releases as we follow this, and by the time people watch this, most likely a lot more. Always visit OffshoreInsiders.com for the details.
This Jacksonville Giants game, this is one I'm thinking of betting. I think maybe I already did bet it a little bit. Jacksonville is a 2.5 or 3-point road underdog. Totals 40.5, and you know, the Giants did not look good in the Week 1, in preseason Week 1. They've also suffered a bunch of injuries, including in the secondary. They're just kind of banged up, not getting great quarterback play. You know, even Manning wasn't that great, but that won't be a big deal. But from their backups, and Jacksonville, on the other hand, both Blake Bortles and Chad Henne looked good in Week 1 of the preseason. Jacksonville, you know, had some things to recommend them for Week 1. In light of all that, and Jacksonville getting a field goal, I think Jacksonville +3 is the way to go here. What do you think, Joe?
I'm not going to necessarily argue with that, but when it comes to the NFL preseason, I like to really analyze urgency, and the Giants are really expressing some urgency where they showed some improvements last year, late in the year, in Ben McAdoo's offense. They really were struggling in the preseason last year, learning his new offense, and overall it was not a great year. And then, of course, in Week 1, they really showed no improvement. But they're talking about really wanting to look much more efficient this week. You know, Eli Manning's been talking about it. Looks like the starters on offense are going to play a while. Tom Coughlin did say, and I guess this is really almost a case with every coach, but he did say they're going to play a lot more this week than they did last week, the offense, where the offensive line last week played 25 snaps, which is a pretty lot for Week 1. So I think they're, you know, Coughlin said they're going to get more this week, and then Eli Manning had 15 snaps. It is true, though, that Victor Cruz is going to be doubtful, but the Jaguars have some injuries of their own. Julius Thomas, Marquez Lee, and then on the defensive side of the ball, Derek Marks and Jonathan Kripien. So, you know, they both have their share of injuries. I think it's a little tough to get a feel because the Giants are going to be more aggressive on offense. Jacksonville is going to be more aggressive on defense. They want to force turnovers. They talked about working on turnovers, and what that means, it could be big plays either way. So I think, you know, we might see some quick Giants scores. At first, you know, I lean a little bit towards the over, but I don't really like it enough to make it a official play for the purposes of this video.
All right, so for the purposes of our record keeping in these videos, are you going to pass on this one or give us a pick, Joe?
Yeah, well, with both teams minus a key receiver, I probably will pass. I don't want to go with that over, and I'm not really in love with either side, at least as of yet. We'll pass. It's your pick, Mr. Peter Loshak of SBR Forum.
I guess for the purpose of record keeping in this video, yeah, I don't think I can touch the total. And I think if I had to take either Giants or Jacksonville, I'd take Jacksonville right now. +3 is one of the market-wide numbers, so it's a pass for Joe Duffy. That means I have to give a pick, and I'll give Jacksonville +3. Thanks, Joe.